Hey everybody, it's Budget Pumpkin here, and today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why you should budget and 5 ways that you can actually accomplish budgeting. Okay, so reasons to budget. Budget, let's get rid of the negative connotation. Like, I feel like the word budget has a connotation where it's like really restrictive, and when we have a budget, we can't spend money on the things that we want to spend on, and or we can't do this because it's not in the budget. It just has a very negative context. And what I want to share with all of you is that budgeting doesn't have to have a negative context. So we're going to replace the word budget with plan. And 5 ways to plan, and I guess your money. Plan your money. So we're taking the negativity out of budgeting. And so why we want to plan our money. Number 1 reason why is you want to align your spending with your goals. Okay. So maybe one of your goals that you always say, oh, I'd really like to have a farm, right? I want to have a farm, I want to have the property, and I want to, I don't know, live off the land and grow my own vegetables, whatever you want to do. Or maybe you want to, maybe your goal is to go on a vacation. I want to go to New York and see a Broadway play, or what I want to go to Disney World, right? Whatever your goal is, you need to align your spending with your goals. So once you start looking at how you spend your money, education is the first step, right? So you have to see how you're spending your money, how much you're spending for rent and groceries and gas and your utilities, all of those things. And if you say, okay, I have this big crazy goal that I want, maybe you want to start your own business, who knows? Aligning your spending with your goal is going to allow you to get there. So if you find that you're always broke because and this is something that we've done, we go and we would spend $200 a week on groceries. We would have a bunch of random stuff because we would just go without a plan, right? We would go to the store without a plan. We wouldn't go with the grocery list. So go to the store without a plan, buy a bunch of stuff, and it's even worse when you go hungry, right? Because then you just want to buy everything, and then you're put it all away, and then it comes time to make dinner, and you look around and you're like, I don't want to eat anything that we have. It doesn't sound good. It's too much effort. I've spent too many spoons today. I just don't have any spoons left to make dinner. And so then you go out to eat, right? And of course, in my house, Healthy Me buys the groceries. And when Healthy Me buys the groceries, I don't really buy snacks or candy or whatever. I might get one thing, but it's actually pretty healthy, right? So I will buy fruits and vegetables and things that will perish, right? So we go to eat. And then we go out to eat again and then again. And I think I was tracking, and we were doing so bad. We were spending probably $2,000 a month eating out. And another $800 to $1,000 buying groceries. And we would throw the groceries away because they would go bad in our refrigerator. But we wanted to go on a vacation. And how are we going to go on vacation if we're spending this much money eating out and throwing away, we'll say 20, $3,000 a month, and not to mention that it was on the credit card, so we didn't really notice how much we were spending because we weren't keeping track of it, right? So if our goal is to go on vacation, and quite frankly, where most households can make a difference in their budget is in groceries and eating out. So now, because we're being more mindful, because we realized how much we were spending on food and eating out, now we do take our lunches to work. That was a big one. And I go into the grocery store with an idea of what I want to make for the week and what's already in the cupboard and in the freezer. And then also, I get items that will help me accomplish that goal. And then I actually meal prep. So I will meal prep on Sundays or Monday night. And then I will do, especially for lunches, for me, lunches need to be grab and go. And then on, Wednesday or Thursday, I might do a mini meal prep to get us to the end of the week. That has saved us so much money because we're spending $150 a week on groceries, if that. And so that is, we'll say, $600 a month instead of $2,000. And then dining out, I give us $50 per week for dining out together. And then I do $10 per week and he does $20 per week, so that's $30. So a total of $80 per week for eating out-ish. So even if it was $100 per week, we're spending $600 per month on groceries, $400 per month eating out. That's $1,000. We've reduced that outflow by $1,800, and we're no longer creating debt. So that's a way to align spending with your goals, because right now our goal is to pay off debt, but actually our really bigger goal is that we want to travel. And so once we get our debts paid off, and then we can travel. And so it's kind of like looking like, okay, I can go get this McDonald's, or I can go out here, I can go out there, but then we're not going to be able to go on this big fancy vacation that we want to take. And quite frankly, I'd rather have the experience. So whatever your goals are, maybe it's putting your child through college, or maybe you want a vacation property or a boat, or maybe you just want to not overdraft your checking account. Maybe that's where you're at, and that's totally okay. Or, maybe you want to give your mom money for the nursing home, or however it works out. Once you align your spending with your goals, you're going to have a lot easier time with your money plan. The second reason is for debt repayment. Now, these are numbers that I don't necessarily share on the channel. After our June credit card check-in for the ending in month of May, we still have like $48,000 in credit cards. We still owe, I'm going to say $114 on our house, even though I don't count that in our debt on the channel. We owe, I'm going to say about $5,500 on my car. Our other car is paid off. And my husband's student loans, I'm going to say, are around about $50,000. Now, the only reason why we're focusing on our consumer credit card debt right now is because our house has a low interest rate with what we owe on it. That's probably going to be the last thing that we pay off. My car is at 0% interest, so I just treat it like a monthly bill. If I'm not paying any interest on borrowing money, I'm just going to send them that payment every month. I'm not going to worry about it. And then my husband's student loans are in deferment, and then he just had to go back to school, so they're going to continue to be in deferment. So our plan is to knock off that credit card debt before we have to start paying his student loans back. And then once the car's paid, his student loans are paid, I mean, we can work on the house. By the time the credit cards and the student loans are paid, the car should be paid off. And then once I'm done paying it off, I'm still going to save that money each month to put as a down payment on a new car. So the other debts are going to kind of work themselves out. So that's why we're focusing on the credit cards. But now that we have a plan for debt repayment, I know what our priorities are. I can plan what card I want to pay off, how long it's going to take me, if I can get extra money. And it makes me motivated to get extra money. Like, we're so close to paying off one of our credit cards. They only owe like $1,400 and something dollars on it, from like $3,500. So it's like, it's really motivating. I want to see that go off, and then I can take that payment, put it on the next card, and pay that one off even faster. So it helps you plan for your debt repayment, your debt strategies. And achieving savings goals. So, you know, maybe you do want to take a vacation, or you do want to help a family member. Maybe you want to start a business, or, you know, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to save for, you know, helping your kids through college, saving for a down payment on a home, whatever you want to do with your savings goals, having a plan to get there is going to help you, right? I'm going through my own discovery journey. Pretty sure I have ADHD, trying to get diagnosed. And one of the things that helps me keep my money under control is having a plan. Because if I don't have a plan, I don't budget properly. Or I'm sorry, I don't budget properly. If I don't have a plan, I spend my money willy-nilly on whatever. And it doesn't get me to where I want to be. And then I'm frustrated because I don't have what I thought I would have. So these are 3 reasons to plan your money. Let's talk about the 5 ways that people plan. Okay. Number 1, it's probably what most people are doing now if you don't have a budget, right? Is the no budget budget. And what the no budget means is typically you will keep an eye on how much money is in your account, and then try not to spend below a certain threshold. Like, we tried to do this for years, and I'm going to tell you how it worked out for my husband and I. We would get our paychecks, and they would go into the bank, and we would have our bills auto-drafted. And then we would go and basically spend the rest of the money. Whether we have enough money, we'll get a new TV, or, we have enough money in the account, we'll go do this, or, we spent $300 grocery shopping. Oh, that's okay. We have the money in the account. And what would happen is we would like overspend the account, right? And then stuff would get put on credit cards. Now, we stopped doing this a long, long time ago, probably around 2012 or so. We stopped doing the no budget because we did realize it was not working for us. You know, if you're really on top of it mentally and you can do that, then kudos to you. But it's not something that my husband and I could ever achieve as a viable way to plan our money. The second budget is pay yourself first. And what this means is that you take money right off the top and you put it in your savings account, or you pay debt. And so a lot of times, and this is another thing, like I don't do this, but some people tithe, right? So whatever they make 10% off, they take off the top and they do whatever they're going to tithe to whatever organization they want to tithe to. It's not something that we're doing. But basically you always make sure that you pay yourself first, because then you're saving money in your account. So then if you do have a rainy day, you know, you have that money to fall back on. I think this is great if you have a higher income and little to no debt. And that's my personal opinion. And some people may disagree, but you know, if you're in the situation where you're paycheck to paycheck, or your bills are more than your income, this is not, I don't think, viable for you to do that now. If you're in a situation where you're making enough money where you don't really have to worry, then yeah, pay yourself first all day long. I think it's a great idea and great in practice, but not necessarily practical for a lot of people, and it's not practical for us right now. Would I like to get here? Absolutely. Because then this means to me that I'm not worrying about what we're bringing in and what we're putting out because we're making that much more money than what we need in a month. The third method is the 50-30-20. So the 50-30-20 is that your expenses should be no more than 50% of your income. So that includes your rent or mortgage, car insurance, your utilities, groceries, whatever you're spending, money that you need to live, support the four walls that you live in, feed yourself or get yourself to and from your job, is no more than 50% of your income. And then I believe it's 30% you save and invest, and then 20% you spend however you want, or these two are reversed. However it works out. And I've seen, 60, 20, 20, or 50, 25, 25, 25. However you divide up these numbers. But just like the pay yourself first budget, I feel that this works when you are in a situation where you can afford it, right? If you're making, $2,000 a month and your rent is $1,500, this isn't going to work for you. Okay. Cash envelopes are number 4. And this to me means a couple different things. So if you're using cash envelopes as your sole method of money control, that means you're a month ahead on your bills so that your bills can be auto drafted. And when your money comes in, you withdraw all your money, you put it in your envelopes. You'd pay, you have envelopes for all your bills, high priority, low priority, sinking funds, savings, and all that. And you keep it all cash. And then on the first of the month, you take all the money from your cash envelopes for your bills, you deposit it in the bank, you auto draft all your bills over the month, and then you do rinse and repeat, right? It's a very physical, manual way of tracking your budget. And quite frankly, this works very well for people who have ADHD or other types of neurodivergency where object permanence is difficult for you. And so one of the reasons that we use the cash envelopes for our personal spending money is because we swipe the card and swipe the card and swipe the card, but because we're not actually physically seeing the cash leave our hand, my husband and I both have a hard time keeping track of it, and we tend to overspend. And so if we have this as cash, we track it better and we stay within our budget better because it's physical and tangible. And number 5 is a zero-based budget. Okay, that means when the money comes in, you budget it out to 0. Now, cash envelopes, if you're doing cash envelopes how I just described, where you're pulling all of your money out of the bank, dividing it up into envelopes, hanging onto it, if you put the bill money back in the bank, but you're basically keeping cash for everything, that is a sort of zero-based budget because you're taking all the money that you bring in and you're doling it out in little envelopes. Physically, this I would call more, if you're doing a zero-based budget, you're doing it on paper or electronically also. So what I do is I use a software called You Need a Budget, or YNAB for short. And in my bank account, I have digital cash envelopes. So I don't withdraw all my money. I withdraw a portion. and zero-based budget it, right? When I do my budget with me, everything's budgeted down to the penny, whether I leave it in the bank for future spending or I pull it out to cash stuff, or it gets scheduled to pay a bill or saved or whatever. I'm budgeting every penny that comes in and giving it a job. So that's a zero-based budget. I tend to do a combination of these two, right? So I keep track of my digital envelopes with YNAB in my zero-based budget, and that's all in the bank. And then my cash envelopes are for our spending money, and then I do some of our savings challenges and things like that. So this is kind of like 5 ways to plan your money. All these budgeting methods work great, okay, if you're not behind on your bills. If you're behind on your bills, you're going to have to use these methods to help you get caught up on your bills and then get ahead. And so if that's your issue, you're going to have to look at what you're spending and look at what you have going out and look at what you have coming in, right? Those are your 2 components to your plan. You know, what do I bring in? What are my bills? What am I spending my money on? So I highly encourage you to get a notebook, go to the dollar store or, you know, wherever, get a 10-cent notebook. Or, I don't know, are they even 10 cents anymore with inflation? But, you know, spend $1, get a notebook, and then write everything down, right? I did right around, it was like kind of between Christmas and New Year, but I went to the Dollar Tree. I bought a calendar for $1.25. I bought a notebook, pens, and envelopes, right? So I spent $5, and what I did was I started going through. You go through and you write down what you're spending. And a lot of people say get highlighters. So even if you go through, you know, go through your bank statements, go through your credit card statements, go through your Venmo or your Cash App or anything like that, write down everything you've spent. And then a lot of times people will say to get different colored highlighters, you know, get a 6-pack or whatever of highlighters, and, you know, anything, you know, that's pink is a bill, and anything that's blue is a credit card payment, and anything, you know, you can kind of divide it up like, you know, how much you're spending on groceries, this and that, and get an idea of what you're spending in each category. And you should go through this step whether or not you actually, you know, regardless of what situation you're in order to set up a plan for your money, you're going to have to go through this step anyway. But you have to see where you're spending your money. Now, if your income covers all of that and you have extra, then you're really doing great. But if it doesn't, then you have to, there's only 1 or 2 things you can do if your income is less than your bills and your output. You can only do 2 things. You can either decrease your output, right, which means spending less money, or increase your income. And so some people may be in the position to work extra hours at work or get a side hustle, or maybe do gig work, you know, DoorDash or Shipped or, you know, things of that nature, or pick up a bartending thing. Maybe if you have kids, maybe you can babysit other kids. You know, if you're a stay-at-home spouse, you know, do things like that, do digital things, or maybe you're in a position where you could take in a roommate, and a roommate can help split some of those bills, which would make it more affordable for you. So there's different ways, different ideas. If anybody has a budget that or a plan that they would like me to look at, if you would like help with it, I would love to work with you and give you some advice. I'm not, again, I say this in my YouTube descriptions, but I'm not a financial planner. But I like helping people and going through my own journey. you know, thinking of ADHD and trying to get diagnosed. I really feel like if you're in that situation and you would like to go through what you have, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. So please reach out. And I hope this made sense. I feel like I was rambling through the whole video, but I hope this helps somebody. And I forgot to start with gratitude, so I'm going to end with gratitude. If you have been around for a while, thank you for being here. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining and staying around. And hope you like and subscribe. It just helps us grow and hopefully reach more people who maybe have the same challenges that I do. So that's all I have for you in this video, and I will talk to you next time.